What's up guys, it's Toby here and welcome to a Liverpool player announcement via the video. Ryan Gravenbech, welcome to Liverpool. David Ornstein confirmed this morning that Ryan Gravenbech is in Liverpool undergoing a medical before completing a €40 million transfer deal, which seems like a lot, but in pounds it's just £34 million. And Ryan Gravenbech was actually Liverpool's #1 midfield target even before we went to Caicedo, we went to Lavia. We wanted to sign Gravenbech, but Bayern Munich said all summer long, Ryan Gravenbech is not for sale. So that's why Liverpool moved on to other targets. Ryan Gravenbech was one of 3 midfielders targeted last summer alongside Tchouaméni and Jude Bellingham. So Michael Edwards rated him this highly that he was one of those 3 transfer targets, but we missed out on Tchouaméni, we missed out on Bellingham. So I think Gravenbech for £34 million is an absolute bargain still, even though Bayern Munich doubled his money. Bayern got him for a really cheap €20 million transfer fee from Ajax. That was very cheap, and if he passes the medical, he will sign a 5-year contract confirmed by David Ornstein, and even Thomas Tuchel confirmed that Gravenbech is leaving Bayern Munich. And the reason why he's leaving is because they saw him as a box-to-box midfielder, and they have so many of those with more experience, with better quality than Gravenbech. But at Liverpool he can be anything. He can be a defensive midfielder, a box-to-box midfielder, even a number 10. So he can play in multiple positions and he will get a lot more playing time than what he did at Bayern Munich. So far he only played like 10 minutes in 3 games for Bayern. And Jonathan Northcroft, seasoned English journalist, said Liverpool got in early and convinced Gravenbech to join Jurgen Klopp's project. They were working on him since April. He only wanted to sign for Liverpool. The powerful pitch was made by Jurgen Klopp and by the football club as well, and they were willing to go in with a big transfer fee, a big 5-year contract. And Man United went a lot later for Gravenbech, and their plan was less clear. They didn't offer as big a contract. And even Fabrizio Romano tweeted that Thomas Tuchel pretty much confirmed that Gravenbech is set to join Liverpool. So we will have all the details of that, and also we will have a detailed tactical analysis and a scouting analysis of what Gravenbech can bring to Liverpool. So if you are excited about this transfer, get this video to 500 likes, and also I'm so close to 139,000 subscribers, so share it with your mates, my YouTube channel, who support Liverpool or who just love football. And Thomas Tuchel said Gravenbech wasn't happy with his situation here, as he sees the chance in Liverpool to fight for a place in the 4-3-3 system. He has wanted to go for a while. An offer came in, we discussed it, the outcome is clear. So Thomas Tuchel basically admitted there was never going to be the path for Gravenbech to the starting 11 at Bayern, despite their options at the box-to-box midfielder. It wasn't really great. Bayern didn't have a great season last season, and yet Gravenbech couldn't really get into the team because Nagelsmann didn't fancy him, because it was Bayern, the club, who signed him and not Nagelsmann himself. And Thomas Tuchel came in and he rented a squad with an instant pressure to deliver results, to deliver the Bundesliga title. So it wasn't really convinced about Gravenbech, but Jurgen Klopp can mold him into anything. He can be a brilliant defensive midfielder if Jurgen Klopp wants. That's the big plus of Gravenbech. He's only 21 years old. So basically Thomas Tuchel says Gravenbech is now on his way to Liverpool, and Jurgen Klopp was asked about potential further incomings, further signings, as it's transfer deadline day. And he said, it's deadline day, so I don't want to kill the excitement. You never know, but I'm busy with other things. Of course, he's busy preparing the team for the big game against Aston Villa on Sunday, which I'm really looking forward to. It looks like Konate will miss that game. Van Dijk is suspended, so Liverpool defensively have to be very careful. We will start with Gomez and Matip at the back, and I'm dreading that game because Aston Villa have a lot of really fast players. Watkins, Diaby, Leon Bailey. Against this Liverpool defense, I think we should start with a flat back 4 in a 4-3-3 formation with Endo shielding the back 4, and we should give Trent less license to go forward, and we should give McAllister and Szoboszlai the license to go forward and help the attack. And Jurgen Klopp said, if I could bring a centre-back in for one weekend, I would think about it, but I can't. So basically that says that Liverpool are not really looking to sign a centre-half to cover for the injured Konate. But Konate is injury prone, so I think Liverpool should get a defender who is good value and who would help us, who would improve Liverpool. You can't tell me there isn't a player on the market like that. For example, Southampton want just a loan fee of £3 million for Armel Bella-Kotchap, who was one of their best players alongside Lavia last season when Southampton got relegated. Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund want to sign Bella-Kotchap. Why isn't Liverpool in for him? If we bid 20 million, surely Southampton would say yes. He's only 21 years old, he's a German international footballer, and he was one of very few Southampton players who impressed actually last season. So Liverpool should be signing a defender, because I think that would help Liverpool a lot, because Konate is injury prone, Gomez is injury prone, Matip is injury prone, and of course Van Dijk, with each passing year he is in danger of getting injured sometimes. Of course signing a player because in the short term you need a centre back has its own pitfalls. Look at Man United, sometimes they panicked and signed players that they didn't really need. Of course now that Luke Shaw is injured long term and Malacia is injured for a few weeks, they are panicking and signing Reguilon on loan from Tottenham. But Jurgen Klopp genuinely does not like having a big squad. And when Liverpool are at their best, every Liverpool player knows their role, and every Liverpool player at least once a week gets to play. And that's a big benefit of having a small squad. But it's also very risky. If you have an injury crisis in one position, if two or three of your four centre-backs get injured, you are in big trouble. And Liverpool risked doing this. Last season it was the midfield, 3 seasons ago it was the centre-back position. Now with Gravenbech, at least we will have the numbers. We will have 8 midfielders, 4 centre-backs, but my problem is 3 of those 4 centre-backs are injury prone, and in the midfield you have Thiago, who is injury prone. Yes, you have Bajcetic, Endo, but one of them is very young. One of them, the jury is out whether Endo will adapt to the pace of the Premier League. So far he struggled, but yes, mitigating circumstances twice where he played, Liverpool got red cards. And Chris Boscombe said that Gravenbech will be very likely Liverpool's last signing. But I think a centre-back signing may take this transfer window from a 6 out of 10 transfer window to an 8 or 9 out of 10. What would it have it made a 10 out of 10 transfer window if we signed a beast defensive midfielder, somebody like Caicedo? But there are not many on the market who are also worth their price. Caicedo is not worth 115 million. Doucouré of Crystal Palace is not worth 80 or 90 million. So if Liverpool wanted to sign them, we would have to pay over the top inflated prices. And also, Jurgen Klopp admitted that Liverpool, it was more difficult for Liverpool, that we missed out on the Champions League. We didn't have as much money available in the transfer budget, so we couldn't really, throw everything at some players, even though we tried our best with Caicedo. And Jurgen Klopp will have a lot of rotation. In some games, we won't even have a typical number 6. We will have number 8s who can play the number 6 role, and they will be in a fluid formation because Endo, he's proper number 6, but he can play box-to-box midfielder as well. Bajcetic can play both positions. McAllister can play both positions. Gravenbech can play both positions. Even Szoboszlai sometimes had to play as a defensive midfielder because of the red cards. So Jurgen Klopp will alternate the team, and this Gravenbech signing gives him a lot of options. And I think overall we can be pretty satisfied of Liverpool's midfield rebuild, because we sold Fabinho and Henderson for big money. We got rid of the deadwood like James Milner, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita. Gakpo replaced Bobby Firmino. McAllister replaced Henderson, Szoboszlai replaced Naby Keita, Endo replaced Fabinho, and Gravenbech replaces Milner. The only downgrade I think is Endo for Fabinho. In all the other positions, I think it's an upgrade, apart from maybe Gakpo replacing Firmino. The jury is still out on Gakpo, even though he started it well. Now, Firmino is a better player right now, but Gakpo could become as good as Firmino one day. But in the midfield department, apart from downgrading from Fabinho to Endo, all of our other signings have been major upgrades. Alexis McAllister is much better than Naby Keita. Szoboszlai is much better than Henderson. Gravenbech much better than James Milner. Maybe Endo is the Milner replacement and Gravenbech is the Fabinho replacement, and you could argue Endo is a better player than Milner right now. He's 7 years younger, with a lot more energy and fresh legs, and Gravenbech has the potential to become one day as good as Fabinho, either in the defensive midfield position or as a box-to-box midfielder. And you can see why Liverpool have pursued Gravenbech for years. At Ajax he was very impressive. Remember that he made his debut at 16 years old in the Dutch league. He became one of the youngest players at Ajax to play in midfield, and he's tall, he is fast, he can press, he can tackle, and also he has skill on the ball. He has dribbling skills, passing skills, and the modern number 6 needs to be comfortable in possessions as well, and he needs to start moves in various ways. I think because of Gravenbech's big stature and big physical presence, he can be trained and molded into a number 6. Right now he's not a classic number 6. He's not a destroyer. He's not an energetic destroyer that Liverpool desperately needs and wants. As I said, the players who were on the market, who are destroyers, they would have cost triple the amount of Gravenbech. I'm not even exaggerating. Look at the Caicedo transfer fee. Doucouré, Crystal Palace asked 80-90 million for Doucouré. So I think Gravenbech for 34 million makes a lot more sense than signing Lavia for 55 or 60 million. Because Gravenbech has many years of experience, not just one season in the Premier League. Gravenbech has many seasons in the Eredivisie, in the Bundesliga, and also he has Champions League experience already, playing for Bayern in the Champions League, playing for Ajax in the Champions League. And even when he was just 7 years old at the Ajax Academy, former Ajax youth team coach Brian Tevderen said this about him. He was unbelievable. You could see that this boy would become a good football player. Physically, I can see Frank Rijkaard in him from back in the day because he's tall, very strong. But technically, I would say he's a better version of Pogba in his best days at Juventus in terms of his technique and his presence on the pitch. He's very dominant like Pogba was, and that's what I see in Ryan. Players of others saw it too, including of course Erik ten Hag. So in the 2021 season under ten Hag, Gravenbech already nailed down a starting spot for Ajax. He was still only 18 years old when he played for the Netherlands against Turkey in a World Cup qualifier. I mean, at 18 years old to play for the Netherlands, really impressive to play for that national team. Ryan was very young, Ryan Gravenbech. Martin Stekelenburg said when he made his debut for the Ajax under-19s, Ajax under-21s, he had to compete against physically strong players. So when I saw he could cope with those physical demands of the game, I had no doubt he could step up and show his technical and tactical talent. For me, talent is when you can adapt to the next level. Ryan managed to play himself into the team after every step up in the age group. When you cannot keep up with the speed of the game, you are not in the team. But Ryan showed in training and games that he could contribute to the team. And this is what Ten Hag said about Gravenbech in 2021. Gravenbech knows what he can do and he loves football. He remains himself with his beautiful smile. He can laugh everything away. If he works hard and makes the right choices, Ryan has the potential to become a world star. It's not quite so easy for a young player to come in at 20 at Bayern and only come on for 20 minutes. That's what Nagelsmann said about Gravenbech earlier this season, last season, sorry. It's just a whole different approach. He's of course said that he doesn't play much, but not frustrated or angry at all. He's a great guy who will continue his development. And I think it's better to get a knock like this when you are 21 years old, when you are still young and developing. If you can only experience success until like you're 28, and that's the first time when you have to sit on the bench, it's a lot more difficult to deal with it. This is a learning experience for Gravenbech at Bayern, that he didn't play much. I think that will serve him well in his footballing development and in his personal development as well. Nagelsmann said, "I've told Ryan that he's going to be one of the best midfielders in the world one day. I'm committed to that. He just has to adjust a few things, and he will do that." But he couldn't really adjust, and his relationship with Nagelsmann went downhill. Then Nagelsmann got sacked, Thomas Tuchel came in, but he didn't really rate Gravenbech's defensive work. Apparently the Gravenbech didn't track back enough for his liking, and he didn't have the work rate off the ball, which is a little bit concerning, but he's still very young, he's learning, developing, and I'm sure that Jurgen Klopp will give him a lot more playing time so he can figure it out and improve this part of his game. I mean, there is really not much shame in not getting ahead of Kimmich or Goretzka into this Bayern team, or even Musiala or Thomas Müller. They are all better players and more experienced players right now than Gravenbech. But Gravenbech have the potential. They have the potential to become much better in the future. I mean, at Ajax he played in pretty much all the positions across the midfield, and he had 87% pass accuracy 2 seasons ago at Ajax. Defensive duels won 67%, which was even better than Fabinho. Aerial duels won 62%, again better than Fabinho. 4 interceptions per game, Fabinho made 4.4. Loose balls won 33.9%, exactly the same as Fabinho. He made ball recoveries in the opposition half per 90 minutes, 7.6. Which was worse than Fabinho, but not by much. Progressive runs per 90 minutes, 2.9, which is really a lot more than Fabinho. Long passes, 61.7% pass accuracy, much better than Fabinho's 54%. Passes to the final third, which have been accurate, 89% pass accuracy. Fabinho's was just 83. Forward passes, 78% accuracy. Fabinho's was only 75%. So you can clearly see that Gravenbech has the potential to become as good or even better than Fabinho. But we will see what this brings for Liverpool. And what this could mean is that maybe Liverpool are trying to have a lot of players who are like hybrid players, who, as I said, can play defensive midfield, box-to-box midfield, even sometimes going forward, attacking midfield. So the transitions are seamless, switching and sharing of responsibilities. And this could be partly down to this box midfield that Liverpool are trying to do over the conventional three-man midfield. And Gravenbech will be important in the first phase of playing out from the back. Gravenbech is brilliant at receiving the ball on the turn and then passing it forward, or getting the ball and running with it forward. So his job could be to take the ball and retain or pass it on to better options. He's pretty good at interceptions. His defensive capabilities, of course, need work, but he will be able to help Trent Alexander-Arnold when he is playing in that box midfield. He's also a great option to give rotation to McAllister or Dominic Szoboszlai when they are tired or when they need a rest. In the Europa League, Gravenbech can play in their place. And with great coaching, he can become a world-class player. I'm pretty convinced of that. And I think this year at Bayern Munich gives him a lot of motivation to prove himself, to prove a point to the world that he is good enough to succeed at a really big club. So his motivation will be through the roof. So let me know what do you think about this signing in the comments below, and how do you rate Liverpool's transfer window out of 10? I would rate it a 6 out of 10, but that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, see you later, goodbye!